Are we filming? Yes, we are. So, welcome to a coffee break. It's kind of I've not done very many of these, but I'm going to try and do them more regularly from now on. Think of them as a podcast, but more visual and more informal. Because I'm trying to keep the podcast as something that you can listen to in the car or when you're doing the housework or whatever, or you're commuting to work. But this is very much a visual thing. So that's what I'm trying to do anyway. But let me start with a bit of an itinerary, as it were. Okay, keeping the podcast notes in a spare filofax. This is something that I've started doing. So these are my podcast notes for my last podcast. Because I have a slight dilemma and I need to produce a solution. So basically, the issue is that I'm producing so many videos that it's hard to remember what I've done, and I want to try and, if I can, answer everybody's questions and comments, and sometimes I have to look at the videos to see what I was talking about. So I'm trying to be a little bit more organized with that. Progress. I thought during these coffee breaks I'd give an indication of what I'm doing with progress. With my diary in particular, this is the diary I'm currently using, but I'm also trying other things as well. And I have a number of diaries, but this is the one that I'm currently using as my EDC. It's not a Guildford Mini Extra Slim. It is a Mini Executive, slightly wider. And I can't show you in here, but I can. Let's see if I've got a blank page. Okay, 2nd of May. I have a rolling sort of 30-day diary, sometimes a little bit more. But it's very informal, as you can see. I don't even need a ruler. I don't print anything out. I just dot the date. And I draw a line and then some more lines, and I line them up with the rings in this mini size filofax, so 5 rings. And then these boxes are things I have to do for the day. And I've been experimenting with this. And I've been experimenting with it because of something that has come up. As regular viewers will know, I have been experimenting with an expandable filofax diary. And what I mean by that is, do I have some inserts ready? No. But so basically what I've been doing is I've been using a standard pocket-sized filofax diary in a mini filofax, and then using these homemade A7 sheets of Clairefontaine 50 GSM bank paper. If I need to expand any given day because there's just not enough space on a week on 2 pages pocket-sized diary. And that's worked very well. But I mean, it is a serendipitous thing. But this change, I have been experimenting with this, and I've been experimenting with the insertable, expandable diary. But my decision to transition, at least for the moment, of obviously trying different things, as you know, but I'm trying this rolling 30-day diary, which is a little bit more inconvenient because I can't flick through and suddenly jot a date down this time next year. The problem is that I just found the concept of the insertable extra diaries as too difficult. And although I've got a bugbear, as you know, about the QR codes in the personal and the A5 and the A4 filofax diaries, that's not applicable to pocket size or mini size, because at the moment they're not printing their diaries for 2025. They're out now, but the pocket and the mini size are excluded from that, probably because someone's realised that the QR codes that they're using have to be a certain size, and they're just, in relation to the space available in pocket and mini size diaries, it's just not practical. I mean, I personally think it's just not practical in any of them. At least the personal size. Maybe the A5 they can get away with it, but they're not giving you any choice, and they're forcing you down the route. If you don't want the, as I understand it, they're forcing you down the route of making a custom diary and design your own diary if you want to avoid the QR code. So it's all a bit of a mess as far as I'm concerned. But that's not really applicable for here. I'm just experimenting, at least for a while, with this rolling. Well, as you can see, I've got 2nd of May here, and I'm recording this right at the end of March 2024. A little bit more than 30 days. I was adding a new page, a new day every day, and that just was too time consuming. So what I do is I have a note at the end of, let's have a look, see if I can see one. I just want to see. Okay, so here we go. I've got a note here. Every Sunday I add 7 more days, and then it says +7, and the +7 means +7 more sheets, because I like to keep at the back, behind this yellow cardboard divider, I like to add some more pages, blank pages, because it's very, very useful to have a stash of notes. This seems to work very, very well. The occasional, I mean, I'm a bit of a philosophy, because I like to record them in a 12-month rolling diary. But the way I get round that is if I have occasion during the day to need to jot something down. So if, say, I was at a funeral the other day, and I was chatting to someone and said, well, let's meet up this time next year. And of course, with the diaries not available, the filofax diary is not available until the end of March. I personally think they should be available 12 months ahead of schedule, not 9 months ahead of schedule. I mean, it's improved since yesteryear, but it's definitely not ideal if you are interested in a 12-month diary, you know. But I just use the notes, add a note, and then add it to my other diaries. So it is okay. But this is working very, very well, and I like it. This is A7. It's very economical, particularly when compared to commercially made diary inserts. I mean, this is as cheap as you can possibly get. So I'm just sharing you my progress with my diary, what I'm using at the moment. But bear in mind, I am trying lots of things simultaneously. It's just that this at the moment is my favourite one, and so this tends to be at the moment what I'm carrying in my pocket. Experiments with A6 no cover treasury tags. So this refers to, let me show you this. So you know that I've been looking at treasury tags. So I have got, I don't know, probably about 20 sheets here, and I'm just using this as a to-do list, and I will probably feature this in another video. But look at this. I'm just going to turn it over. Let me put it in. I'm I'm just going to, for the benefit of the fact that the Portland has a back pocket, a full length pocket. I'm just going to try and put this in without revealing my notes. Look at that. Okay, I don't have a clip on here, and it's probably might need to have a clip on here for you guys that don't do things that are drastic, like cut off the retaining strap. But look at that. What do you think of that? And I invite your comments. I mean, please comment on any video. But I am experimenting with treasury tags quite a lot, and I just think that is an ideal situation where you have your main diary in here, and you can see I'm using treasury tags here as well, because this is my D-ringed Portland. This works very, very well. This kind of this treasury tag system, where the treasury tags are hidden. There's various ways to hide them, but here they are behind here. This works very, very well. I'm just going to blow my nose. Sorry about that. But we are in a coffee break. So I'm just going to leave it in the edit. I'm not going to edit it out. But can you see how this might conceivably be a useful EDC tool? Because you have a combination of A7 and A6, and you're using the back pocket for a to-do list, or it's a very versatile system, isn't it? But I am experimenting with this, and the more I use it, the more I like it. Again, 50 GSM bank paper. I'll probably do a video about this, but this is like a preview, if you like. But I just like the versatility of this. You can fold it like that, you can fold it like that, you could probably fold it like that and put it in your pocket, and is it going to damage it? No, because this stuff is transitory. You're not gonna damage the paper sufficiently for it to be unreadable or unusable, and this could be archivable. So I like this. I like this bare bones, no frills system. Not ideal if you want to keep on adding particular pages in certain positions. This is more suited to, say, a to-do list where you are occasionally adding a page at the back and removing the page at the front, so it's in rotation. But I'm really liking it. In fact, I'm more than liking it. I'm loving it. So that is another sort of insight into one of my experiments. But I will do a video about that at some point. Storage. Let me put it here. Okay. So storage, and I've put 4K versus 1080p. How I'm managing and allocating. So, as long-time viewers will know, originally when I first started this channel, coming up to 3 years ago, I was doing everything in 4K, and it was really, really time-consuming and tedious, and also it for those people with limited bandwidth, it can be difficult for the viewer as well. But I do appreciate that sometimes when I zoom in, I want to show certain things. 4K is really, really useful. So to that end, you'll notice that I went to 1080p, then I came back to 4K, and now I'm doing a bit of a mixture. So what I'm doing is, if I'm showing some intricate detail where the viewer is likely, where you are likely to want to freeze frame and zoom in, those are 4K. Podcasts are 1080p, because at the end of the day, I'm not really I'm trying to be economical with bandwidth. if at all possible can. So it's, I don't think 4K is absolutely necessary in a podcast, for instance. But when I'm showing things, when I'm demonstrating things, at the moment this is 1080p. But if I was doing 4K, I would have this camera here, the facing down camera. That's typically 4K. And then the camera pointing at me is 1080p, but upscale to 4K, so it's not quite as good quality. But if I'm just doing a podcast with one camera, then that is 1080p. So a bit of a mixture, but I haven't had any bad reports. And in fact, some of my videos have been 720p, and no one has said, "Oi, why are you going down to 720p?" And it's purely because I was on a tight deadline, and I knew that the 1080p would just take too long. The upload times here in the UK, where I am particularly, it can be a little bit slow, and so I didn't. Occasionally, I don't want to miss a deadline, so I'm sailing close to the wind sometimes. I'm not trying to. I don't really have a particular schedule per se, but I am trying to be. I know there's that expectation, so if I can stick to some kind of schedule, like particularly the 8 p.m. UK time thing, which is, as I record this, this is we're now in British summertime, but I just put 8 p.m. UK time. So I know that around the world you have different systems, but in the summer it's 8 p.m. British summertime. In the winter it's 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, but within an hour. I try and do them at similar times. I might in due course make more than 3 or 4 videos a week, but I am trying to produce as far as possible something on a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Saturday and a Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time. So I'm doing that. Let me turn that light off, because it's there. That's better, isn't it? I suddenly realised I had my keyboard light on, and it was like there was some sort of orange thing in my eyes. Editing mistakes. So recently I have made a few editing mistakes, and they have been picked up by some very observant viewers. Can I say thank you very, very much for that? What I've made an error. My errors have been compounded, because this morning, for instance, one of my on a video that's not yet available to the wider viewing public, but is available because channel members get to see videos in advance of everybody else, early access. This channel viewer pointed out that one of my multicam videos, I'd inadvertently only uploaded one of the cameras, not 2. And so I then replied and said, thank you very much, I will change it. But then, and I deleted it. But of course, I didn't realise that once you delete the video, the comments on that video disappear as well. So I'm sure the channel member is watching this at the moment. So if you are, sorry about deleting your message. I wasn't trying to be rude, but I just wanted to delete that video immediately, so that no one else saw it in its unpolished state. So I mean, we all make mistakes. I mean, when you look at films, classic films, sometimes you can see a video saying so that the outtakes, the gaffes, where not the outtakes, where they forgot to take them out. And so there is a film, I can't remember which one, but it's supposed to be a Victorian setting, and you've got this shot of a London railway station, and they've got everybody dressed in Victorian gear and top hats and a steam engine and that. And up in the rafters, you could see a digital clock. And so someone had made a mistake there, and probably they knew it and decided they can't shoot the whole scene because it's more expensive. But I'm probably in good company here. But I try to be fairly accurate, and my editing is relatively simple, extraordinarily simple, because I'm mainly shooting one take if I can, unless I get into a coughing fit. But luckily I do get some bouts where I have an uncontrollable cough for sometimes many weeks, which is a bit difficult when you are a filmmaker or like a creator of YouTube videos. But that is the reason why I'm trying to stay ahead of the game with videos as far as possible, which channel members get to see as soon as I upload them. But I'm trying to pace them for everybody else so that they're regular, because at the end of the day, you don't want to see 10 videos a week. I'm not that far ahead at the moment. I'm only about 17 or 18 videos ahead at the moment. I'm aiming for 50 later on this year, but I haven't quite got there yet. So become a channel member, and you'll see a lot more. And I make ones exclusively for channel members as well. But anyway, that's enough of the plug. Maybe more videos, separate ink and paper channel. Okay, so I guess this is news. But let's have another drink of coffee. This is one of my favourite mugs, the spider mug. You will recall that I have mentioned it a couple of times. At the moment, I have deliberately, even though I've got probably about 50 notebooks, 100 pens, probably about 40 different inks, I have not swamped this channel with large numbers of ink and paper videos. But they are when I look at the stats, they are very popular. They're as equally as popular to you as viewers as my paper-based productivity videos. Some cases extraordinarily popular, and I had no idea. I mean, I've always been interested in paper-based productivity. I've always been interested in ink and paper and fountain pens, and they go hand in hand, I think. But I didn't realise just how much of an intersection those topics were. And I have been blowing hot and cold. I thought, shall I just have a separate a separate channel about ink and paper or not? And I'm not going to tell you where it is or what it is, because I have set it up on YouTube, but the cupboard is bare. There's no videos yet, but I will be starting a channel just for ink and paper, which will have more. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. I think that I might run them in parallel at the moment, so there will be ink and paper videos on this channel, and there'll be ink and paper paper on the other channel. They will have a different format. They will have a different format. I think the ones on this channel will be quite short. They may even be YouTube Shorts. Those are the vertical videos that are less than 60 seconds, I might adopt that policy. And the ones on the ink and paper channel will be more in depth. So that, I think that's how I'm gonna do it. But I am sharing my interest in ink and paper, and following comments with some viewers. It does appear to be okay, but I don't want to swamp. I don't want to swamp this channel with a large number of ink and paper videos that becomes predominant on the channel. So that is my news. I've got frequency reminder. Okay. From a point of view of videos, at the moment I am trying to produce for the most of you, the wider viewing public. I'm trying to do 4 videos a week: Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. It is a possibility that I might produce more than that in the future. Just letting you know. But I know that some people have different tastes, and all I can say is I just want to remind you that I have several playlists, so I've separated them out. It's all on one channel, all in one place, but those playlists are, in my opinion, very, very useful, because not everybody is interested in filofaxes, not everybody's interested in ink and paper, so I am minded to increase the frequency. At some point there may be a video every day, hopefully very short, because I do appreciate that people's time is valuable. So we might see, or you might see, I might see as well, more videos, but perhaps shorter, with the exception of podcasts and coffee breaks. I mean, this is supposed to be, originally the podcast started as a coffee break, but then I moved it to like a full-blown podcast, because I thought that would be popular, and it has turned out to be. And the coffee breaks are supposed to be like enough time to drink a coffee, and I want to kind of start doing more of these, but they will be that I'm trying to keep them to about 15 minutes, but with the exception of this one, because I'm kind of kick-starting the coffee breaks again. And I just wanted, I've got a lot to catch up on. I thought I would share this with you. I mean, they may be longer, and of course, one can always pause a video and have another coffee later on and watch the rest of it. So I'm not going to be too precious about the coffee break timings. But as you know, with the podcast now, if you saw the last podcast a couple of days ago, you'll notice that I'm trying to keep them around about an hour and do more of them rather than less frequently but longer. So I'm trying to have some semblance of order in my paper-based productivity world. Finally, oh no, we got three special items, but finally, well, not before finally, I just want to share something with you. And I'm not really, it's not really a mail time, but I just want to show you this because I really, really like it. Let me zoom in. So I bought this the other day. It is a Parker Slim Fold. Now this is generally advertised as a ladies' pen. Have I got a full-size Parker pen? So here we go. So this is a Parker Jotter, which has been around for donkey's years, the design. And this Parker Slimfold is indeed slightly shorter, but not by much. I like this. I like this because the size of it means that I can, it's lighter weight. It is a lovely pen. I paid a tenner for this. Online. These were made from 1958 onwards. I think they carried on until 1975. So this is probably older than half a century. Might even be older than me. But it has a spectacular nib. Is it going to be in focus? Yes. Look at that. It's a 14 karat gold nib, and it is super smooth. Super smooth. Beautiful, beautiful. A gold nib Parker, made in Britain. I know they're not made in Britain anymore, but it has this. You'll have to remind me what this is. This is the first really old pen that I have had, and it's just lovely. I've got it filled with. I was going to fill it with Noodler's Heart of Darkness, but I've decided, for safety reasons perhaps, I've decided to... Isn't that fantastic? I've decided to fill it with Beast Bodmin, which is an ink, a proprietary ink from Pure Pens here in England. Love it. I love that black. So it's just a nice thing. And I wanted to, the reason I mention this is because I want to show you something. These are my notes from the last podcast. And they're all in Pilot G2. And I jot these things down during the week. And I have to search around for a Pilot G2. I don't have to search too much, but a Pilot G2. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm using quite often a different pen every day, so I might be using. Okay, let's take one at random. This has got Quink Blue. I really rate these very, very cheap, less than a couple of pounds, these piston fountain pens. That one's got Quink Blue Black. Let's try another one. So this has got Noodler's Blue Anti-Feather. So I have about 100 pens that are inked up. I know that's crazy, but this is what I do. This is what I do. Please forgive me for that. It's an idiosyncrasy in my character that I like to have lots of pens, and I think it stems from 50 years of experiments with ink. When I was a child, my grandfather bought me, and I've mentioned this before, my first fountain pen back in when I was 11, and I've been into fountain pen ink ever more. Do you know what? I think it is the difference between, if you are a smoker. I used to be a smoker and I stopped about 17 years ago, so nearly 20 years ago. But if someone had said to me it's healthier to have a nicotine patch, I would have dismissed that. Why? Because part of the attractive nature of smoking, or at least that's what I thought back in the day, was the ritual surrounding smoking. So you take out a cigarette from the packet and you spark up. I mean, that's all part of the ritual of smoking. And I think that part of the ritual of writing is inking up a fountain pen and checking it and comparing it with others and chopping and changing and having certain inks that simply aren't available if you are using a gel pen or a ballpoint. You have limited choice. And then there's the different widths of nib, and then there's the way each nib behaves. And I mean, it's just one of those intangible things where you think this is this is part of the ritual of writing. And I'm sure that writers in the past, who presumably all used fountain pens or quill pens of some sort, they probably felt like that too. Especially since when you write with a fountain pen, there is a possibility, no matter how remote, there is a possibility that what you're writing may still be around in 1,000 years' time. So it just feels a bit special using a fountain pen. And so what I'm going to do, and I am digressing, but I'm hauling myself back now, is that when I write these notes, you will probably see in future coffee breaks and podcasts that my notes will be written in all sorts of pens, and I will mention what pen and what ink I'm using. It's a bit of fun, but you will see I will be demonstrating the fact I love fountain pens by virtue of the fact that I'm talking about them. So are we going to our three things? So this is a long coffee break, but my apologies. So what's going on with my Kaweco hacks? Now, as you know, I am a big fan of the Kaweco Sport pen. I love it. I love the form factor. I love how it feels in the hands. I absolutely love it. And these nibs are very, very special in my opinion. They just write straight out the box. Straight out the box. They are lovely. They are absolutely lovely. And so I like them, and I like the fact that you can use a converter, or you can use a cartridge, or you can also have I got this converted? I think I have. Let's just have a look. No, I've got a cartridge in that one. It might be the black one. Let's have a look. Inky finger time again. No, that's a cartridge. And this is actually what I'm leading to here. Okay, let's try the green one. Okay, look at the state of that. The state of that. This is Noodler's Edge of Darkness, and what I'm doing here is, rather than a cartridge converter, I am just using it as a dropper pen, filling the body of the pen with ink, using some silicone grease and then sealing it up. But as you can see, there is a bit of an issue. I mean, it's not too much of an issue, but the problem is that when you're writing using this as a dropper pen, it can be a bit messy. So ink can flow there's more ink flow than one would ideally like. So my big announcement is I'm going to cool it with that. What I'm going to do is, Am I zooming out? Yes. I am going to, the ones that are fountain pens, I do have these two that are a ball, not a ballpoint, a roller ball. I mean, as you can see, you can mix and match. So I bought this burgundy one as a roller ball, and I bought this blue one as a fountain pen, but I'm just using the blue one for a, I've got a Pilot G2 conversion in here, in blue, and there's no surprise here, I've got a Pilot Red G2 conversion with the broad nib. I sort of cut it off so that it will actually fit, and these are absolutely fantastic. My favourite gel pen insert is the Pilot G2, because it just, with the bold nib, with the bold points, the 1mm broad point, it just flows so smoothly. If I was on a desert island and I could choose one pen, it would be the broad 1mm G2 point. But what I'm going to do is the others, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So these are the 6 I have at the moment. I think I've got a couple more somewhere. Because I use these on the road, and because I don't really want to get inky fingers on me all the time, I'm actually going to clean these out and be sensible. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to fit a cartridge in all of them. And I'm probably just going to fit a Kaweco black cartridge in all of them, because I quite like writing in black with a fountain pen when I'm on the road. And so I quite like the idea of being on the road with 3 fountain pens, or 3 pens, 3 Kaweco Sports, a blue G2, a red G2 inserts, and then a black fountain pen, and maybe have another fountain pen, because if you are using a cartridge, you don't really want to muck about. So long as the nib is the same, and so long as the cartridge is the same, you can look at periodically look at the reservoir, what's in reserve in the cartridge, and think, right, okay, I'm just going to put that back in my pocket and get that one out and use that for the rest of the trip. And a cartridge would probably last, thousands of words. So but it is handy to have more than one, obviously. So that's what's going on with my Kaweco pens. I do like this Marjon as well, which is almost like what they call a lipstick pen, for obvious reasons. But look at the difference in size. I mean, this is fantastic, and I like the fact that this is clear. If there was a clear, I know they do a frost one, but I'm not sure with the Kaweco Sport whether you can see the ink levels, so I haven't bought one. But I do like this. This is a Marjon filled with, at the moment, diamine teal, and I love it. When I've used up this diamine teal, I am minded to use this as a dropper pen. I mean, you can use it as a cartridge, but it is specifically designed as a dropper pen, whereas this is not specifically designed as a dropper pen. But the beauty of this is, if you use it as a dropper pen, is because before you unscrew it, you can actually see whether there's been any mess or leakage. And I think that from a purely the dropper pen point of view, this, I mean, I don't know whether it's expensive or not. It costs £20, which is quite a lot. I mean, it's basically the same price as a Kaweco. Writes very nice though. But I don't know who makes this, but the trade name is Marjon. But anyway, so let's have a look. Carrying on. A reader writes, curious to know, Neil, do you write in pencil? I do have pencil-only notebooks. I'm left-handed, and fountain pens can be a problem for me. Right. The reason why I had this in my coffee break rather than the podcast is because this is something where it's best to see it. So, if you imagine, for many left-handers, this is a problem, especially if you're writing over the top. So you can be starting here, and then you've got the problem with the, let me just turn this over so you can see. So you're starting there, and you're writing, and then you've got to go over here. I mean, it's a problem for many users. Luckily for me, it's not, because I write at 9, I tilt my page like this at 45 degrees, because I hold the pen more or less in line with my arm, you can see, so I can write like this, and there is at no point do I smear the ink by having to write over the top. Let me do this and see if I can demonstrate it. So if I was left-handed and writing here, let's gonna try. I've never tried this. So I'm writing. Does it smear? Well, luckily, this ink, because I think this is a cartridge. This is, oh no, this is a dropper. But this one kind of disproves my point. I'm writing along here. It's a fine nib, and by the time I get there, it's dried so that reasonably well. But as we know, some fountain pens are much wetter than that, and you wouldn't be able to get away with that, and you'd have ink down here, wouldn't you? It would be smudging. So not good. But luckily I don't have the issue because I'm writing like this. But my advice is this: just do this. Take it out, put it back once you finish written. I mean, it's so easy to do that, isn't it? And I would say it is probably easier to do that and get good writing if you're left-handed than using a notebook where you have actually, you might have the problem of a recalcitrant notebook that doesn't give you perfect flatability and you hold it. If you are holding your notes with a small bulldog clip, and you can write while you're holding your phone on your hands, and someone's dictating notes for you, or can jot down notes. You're having a meeting on your phone. You can do this left-handed, and that's really, really useful to do. So there's more than one way of skinning a cat, although I hate that phrase, really. Do I use pencil? Sometimes I do. I use one of these. I also use some with some thicker pencils. Let's see. Are there any here? No, they're in another drawer. Okay, so I have my pencils stashed elsewhere. But I do use pencils. The pencil I use most is the Bic multi-pen, which has the red, blue and red ink biros, and then there is a propelling pencil in there. Lovely. And because it's only an HB, but because it's such a narrow lead, you don't have to sharpen it all the time. And with some of my others that are like 5.5 millimeters thick, you have to constantly sharpen them. So the answer is yes, I do. Not very often though. I used to quite a lot in a diary, because then I could rub it out. But because I use other systems now, I can more easily just cross something, because I have effectively unlimited real estate when it comes to my diary. I can just cross it out and rewrite it, and then use another page if necessary. I don't have to squeeze things in to one place where a pencil would be beneficial. So for me, left-handed is not a problem. The only problem I do have is if I am writing like this. If I was writing, typically, I mean, I can't do it with my right hand, but if I was writing like, imagine this is a mirror image. So if I do this, so I'm writing right to left, yada, yada, yada. Now I can feel in myself that basically, if I'm writing like this, I could write really fast right to left, and very, very easily, without any build-up of lactic acid in my fingers. I could probably write twice as fast as I actually can. But if I'm writing like I do, where instead of the forwards movements like that, where it's basically this action, I am basically writing like this. And instead of the action being in this part of the hand, this part of the hand, it's actually in these two fingers here, in here and here. So basically this is the movement, and you cannot, or certainly I cannot do this. I cannot do this where the flexing of the muscles in my thumb and finger are if I do that, basically if I try and do that for a prolonged period with this action, basically what happens is the lactic acid builds up in my thumb and finger, and then it extends through. You can feel the lactic acid going up your arm, and then you have to stop and let the lactic acid subside and dissipate, which means I had a ridiculous situation. I remember my English O-level, very, very writing intensive back in the 70s. So an O-level is the or it used to be the principal exam for 16-year-olds before you went into the sixth form, and 2 years later, when you were 18, you did your A-levels. O-levels have now been replaced with something called GCSE, which about 30 years ago. But I had a ridiculous situation where several times, every, say, 5 or 10 minutes during the exam, I had to stop what I was doing and put my hand in the air and wiggle my hands. And I remember an invigilator coming along and saying, "Is there a problem? Is there a problem, Neil? Is there a problem?" Well, they didn't know who I was, but and I said, no, I've just got lactic acid in my hands, you know. How frustrating is that, where you're writing against the clock? You're writing an essay, and every 5 minutes you have to stop what you're doing to drain the lactic acid out of your hand. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so I've always had this problem, because I am left-handed, and we write from left to right conventionally in the English language. So I have tried using my right hand, but I just can't do it. I think once you get to the age of 5, whatever hand you've chosen to write, it's set in stone. I admire people that can write with both hands, but I would imagine not many people can. So a bit of an issue there. So I type a lot, and my writing is slow and untidy, and that's one of the reasons why I write in capitals. I'm slow. I do use my left hand is not a problem when I'm writing in a filofax or a notebook, and pencil I use sometimes. Is this the final thing? This is the final thing. A viewer writes, I have heard that TK Maxx in England have them with discounts. With them, this viewer is talking about notebooks, and particularly Moleskines. And he says they have them with discounts, sometimes up to 70% discount. What is my view? And I've got job lot acquisition here. Job lot acquisition means when you go into TK Maxx, and I do have a TK Maxx in my town. TK Maxx is, I think you've got a similar thing in the US, but they don't call them TK Maxx. They call them something else. Probably because there's a conflict with the international property, with the trade name. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I mean, 70% discounts. I mean, that is quite common. I have a few notebooks, Moleskine notebooks from TK Maxx, like this one. This is actually, and I just found out by accident. There was a rumor going around that these ones in TK Maxx, that the batch that was supplied to TK Maxx were very fountain pen friendly, and that is very rare with Moleskine from my experience. I've got about 10 of them, and I found, did I put anything in the back? Okay, so this is. Let me just show you this, and I'll better zoom in. Right, so here are some examples. So this is a Moleskine ink test. I've chosen a Pilot G2 1mm, which is the one I use, and then the Diamine Sherwood Green with a fine nib, and the Parker Quink cartridge, again with a fine nib. And if you look at them, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And if we look at, have I got one here? Oh, that is such a shame that I don't have one to show you right this second. Oh, I do. Hold on a sec. I don't normally leave my chair when I've got the video running, but let me just show you this. So this is also a TK Maxx, and I've actually put here fountain pen angry, not for fountain pen use. So both of these Moleskines were bought from TK Maxx. So this one, pretty good, and then this one is one that's not so good. So there we go. I've written this one with Diamine Writer's Blood. And then if we look on the other side, we can see that the bleed through is, well, I would say the polite way of putting it is, there is a little bit of bleed through there. And yet, if I compare the two, you know, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between the bleed through here and the lack of bleed through here. There is some show through, but it's writable, it's usable. This one, completely impossible. You would have to use it just one page only, which makes the let me zoom out. There we go. It will make this particular one twice expensive because you can only use half the pages. So yes, they do have them. They have lots and lots of interesting notebooks. So I like to pop in. I don't go into town very often, but I like to have a look. And quite often they have, I think what they do is they buy job lots of products that just can't shift, or they're slow sellers. And they buy them off suppliers. And when it comes to notebooks, quite often they're very unusual colours or odd sizes. and so it's very, very much potluck. But they do have some discounts, and so if you are lucky enough to have a TK Maxx in your town, and you are, for instance, lucky enough to find one like I did recently, following advice from a Facebook Moleskine users group, you just don't know. You just don't know until you buy it, get it home, take the cellophane off, and then test it. You just don't know whether you've got a good one or a not so good one. So I was delighted because I won't say how much I paid for this. Well, actually, I think it was $5.99. Well, when you consider these are from many places, about 3 times that, maybe about £20. $5.99 is a pretty good deal, you know, a third of the price. So that equates to the 70% discount. So yeah, I mean, it's worth it. And to be honest, I do like Moleskines. I'm not going to bang on about it. I do like the handling, and I'm okay using a G2. That's fine. But I wouldn't use one normally for, say, a journal, or for, for best. But that is the end of my coffee break, and it's come out at 1 hour and 2 minutes, which is crazy, I know, but that's four coffee breaks, really, isn't it? But I just wanted to restart or get back into the coffee break thing. Let me know what you think. Future ones will be, I'm going to have them more frequently and shorter. Probably have a time limit of maybe around about 15 minutes, but I had a lot to cover, so I thought, do you know what? I'm going to cover them all in one video. So there we go. But until my next coffee break, or indeed until my next video, thanks very much and goodbye.